Hello, and welcome to the Bubble Hangout Digital Careers Clinic with me, Bubble Social Media Marketing Manager, Lauren. Hi. This Hangout takes place once a month and focuses on all things digital. We'll take a look at some of the best job vacancies on our job board, talk you through some of this month's blogs, which offer you the best job seeking advice that you can get anywhere. Well, we would say that. As well as answering your questions about embarking on a career in the digital industry. So throughout this hangout, you might want to ask a question about something I've mentioned, or just ask a question about digital job seeking in general. So if you want to submit a question during the hangout, just click on the Q&A icon, which should be in the corner of your screen, and send us your query, and we'll answer it during the advice section of the show. Without further ado, let's have a look at some of the job vacancies that we have live on the site this month. First up, mobility solutions provider Avis Budget Group are looking for a digital optimization manager in Bracknell. So if you've got like demonstrable experience in digital marketing or e-commerce and delivering digital optimization programs, then this could be a really good role for you. So if you're interested, just click on the link on the screen to apply now. Next up, we've got designer clothing brand Phase 8. They're looking for an online production coordinator to join their team in London. So if you've got high attention to detail, strong communication and organisation skills, then this could be a really good job for you. And if this sounds up your street, then again, just follow the link on your screen to apply now. Third up, we've got the Oxford University Press are looking for a digital producer home learning to join their team in Oxford. So if you've got a proven background in creating and delivering successful online strategy and services and products in D2C markets and creating exciting online experiences for consumers, then this could be a good role for you. So again, just click the link to apply. And finally, cakes tutorial site Pretty Witty Cakes, it isn't very easy to say, are looking for a digital marketing manager to join their team in East Sussex. So if you've got broad digital marketing experience and you're looking to take on a lot of responsibility in a small team at a growing business, really interesting role, then this could be just the job for you. So again, click the link to apply. Next up, so this month we've been writing lots of blogs about offering you the best career advice, not only in the digital industry, but just general job seeking career advice. And I'd just like to highlight some of those blogs for you. So first up, Amy, our digital marketing manager, wrote a blog about the top 5 things to take with you to any job interview. Now, there's a lot to remember at job interviews. You've got to remember your answers to classic interview questions. You've got to showcase your knowledge of the company, so you've got to remember all that information. But you also need to remember the physical things that you need to take with you to the job interview. And here are the top 5 items that you must not forget at a job interview. First up, a few copies of your CV. Now, the interviewer will probably have a copy of your CV to hand, but it's a good idea to bring some anyway. This just shows that you're prepared, you've brought spares, and it's helpful if the interviewer hasn't had a chance to print a copy of, or if there's more than one interviewer and they only have one copy between them, you can dish them out. Also, it's quite handy because you will have a copy to hand, which means that you can glance at it when you're getting grilled by the interviewer on stuff that's on your CV and your mind might go blank. Have a cheeky little look and it'll bring it all back to you. Also, take a notebook. There's nothing wrong with having a few notes about maybe some complex projects that you've worked on that you can't remember all the details of off by heart, or questions that you wanted to ask your interviewer. Having this to hand, having these to hand are really useful, and having a notebook there is really useful to so you can make notes about anything that you've discussed at the interview. So yeah, so notebook's really good one. Copies of your work or your portfolio. Most interviewers will ask you about your past work and projects, so it's a really practical idea to bring your portfolio with you or some examples of your work. So you can showcase it as well as talk about it so the proof is there. Also, when you're deciding what to take, what kind of examples or what to put in your portfolio, think about which projects will impress your potential employer the most, given the job description, and as well what were the most successful. Finally, take an annotated copy of the job description. Noting on the job description how you fit the role and bringing this to the job interview can act as a security blanket, and it'll ensure that you don't forget anything that you really want to get across. Also, Amy also wrote some blogs this month about the top graduate job application mistakes. Now, this is the time of year when graduates are looking to make their first steps into the world of work, and it can be stressful, it can be very daunting, but the more frustrated you become, the worse your job applications will be. So with this in mind, here are some of the top graduate job search mistakes so you can avoid making them yourself. First up is not mentioning the niche you're applying for in your CV or cover letter. If you're applying for a job in digital, for example, and you don't mention anything about digital on your CV or cover letter, that just tells the employer that you're not serious about this industry, you're not passionate about it, and it'll just really put them off. So yeah, that's one massive mistake. Also, using generic CV templates. You may think you're being quite clever with using generic CV templates and that they look professional and smart, but the truth is, we can tell. Everyone can tell. And it's so obvious when someone hasn't made the effort to do their own CV, to put it together themselves, and then it just looks lazy, and it looks like you're not serious about your job search or applying for roles. So generic CV templates are a definite no. Also, not following instructions. If on a job description it says that you need to submit a cover letter, do it. It's as simple as that. You'd be amazed how many people it says to apply for this job, please submit a cover letter outlining why you'd be a good fit for this role, for example. And so many people just don't do that, and it immediately shows that you can't follow instructions, and that your application will just go straight in the no pile. So it's completely pointless ignoring these instructions. Another one is failing to express your interest or passion for that particular company in your cover letter. When you're applying for a company, you want the employer to know that you care about that business, you are invested in its values, you want to work there. And if you can't express that you are genuinely interested in working at this particular company in your application, then it comes across like you're just applying for anything that you can get your hands on, which is not what an employer wants. Next up, copy and paste blunders. Well, we've seen quite a few of them. It's very obvious when someone's just written out a cover letter, sent to everyone, and all they've done is copy and paste the job description. Copy and pasted the job title and the company name into it. It's really, really obvious, and it's so lazy and frustrating for employers. And also, I mean, you get that with when someone will copy and paste maybe the wrong job title in or the wrong company, and it just shows that you can't even proof check your own application. So why would you be careful with the work that you'll be doing at the company? So yeah, massive mistake there. Also, not using CV space wisely. Yeah, as we all know, a CV should more or less be maximum 2 sides of A4. And you need to use this space really wisely and tailor your CV to the job that you're applying for, so that you focus on the most appropriate skills and experience that you have. I mean, while it might be great that you were like captain of the netball team for 6 years or something, that should not take up a quarter of a page of your CV. It's useless, and there's so many other things that you could put in there instead. Also, failing to create a proper cover letter. As I've said before, there's a lot of things that you need to do in your cover letter, but a lot of people think that they can get away with just saying, "Oh, dear Sir, Madam, please find attached my CV for consideration for the role of blah blah blah," and that's it. And that is not sufficient. A cover letter is really showing your interest, why you're great for the role, and also showcasing your writing skills. And if you can't be bothered to do that, then you're not going to get very far. So again, another point is not explaining why you're a good fit for the role. If you do a cover letter and you do showcase like your skills and experience, etc., but they're not relevant to the role that you're applying for, then you're not really showing that you are a good candidate for this position. So it has to be uber relevant to the role that you're applying for and really shows that you are the best candidate. Also, another mistake is including a generic personal profile on your CV. Now, personal profiles are always a bit tricky. It's like, oh, do I talk about myself? Do I talk about my skills or my personal interests? But what is always glaringly obvious is at the start, if you say things like, oh, I'm a hard worker who can work independently and as part of a team, and I'm passionate and I'm enthusiastic, blah, blah, blah. These words don't mean anything. You could put that on anyone's CV and it would just, it doesn't sell yourself to the employer. So try and be inventive and unique with your personal profile, and don't just write the horrible, awful CV cliches that we see so many of on CVs. Okay, number 10 is including typos. Goes without saying, it's a nightmare. It shows that you can't proofread, you're not careful, you're lazy, and you're prone to making mistakes. So you're not going to get hired. And this also goes for file names. So your CV and cover letter file names, make sure that they are typo free. Also, not explaining gaps in your CV. When you're put together your CV, there might have been times of periods of unemployment for whatever reason, personal reasons, traveling, etc., etc. Failing to address these gaps in your application immediately sparks warning signs for in the minds of employers. So it's really, really important to explain these gaps and explain why they're there, to put the employer's mind at rest. And this is 10 times more important as well if your gap in your employment leads up to the present day, to when you're applying for this job, because they'll want to know what you've been doing for the past 6 months or a year. If you can't explain that on your CV, then what are you hiding? In a way, that's what the employer will think. And finally, failing to include links to relevant work or profiles on your CV. If you're applying for a job and it requires showcasing a portfolio or it requires social media, then if you can't include links to your portfolio or include links to your social media profiles on your CV, that's a definite warning sign and a big, massive mistake that an employer will pick up on and they will get pretty annoyed at. So yeah, failing to include links to anything on your CV is a really bad idea. At the very, very, very least, include a link to your LinkedIn profile where the rest of the information is. It's basic and it should be done on every single job application. So there we go. So now's the time where you can ask us anything. So if you've got a question for us, then feel free to ask us now using the Q&A feature in the chat box. So let me have a little look and see if we've had any questions. No, it doesn't look like we have. We actually have one submitted in advance this month, and it was, I haven't got a lot of work experience. I'm applying for my first graduate job. So how can I showcase that I would be a good fit for a company if I haven't got professional work experience? Well, this is a very common problem when it comes to graduate job hunting. It's the catch-22 of, I need experience to get a job, but I can't get a job, so I can't get experience. And it's just, it feels like you're going around in circles. But if you're trying to showcase how you could be a good candidate for a graduate job, think about what you did in university, your course, and what parts of those courses were relevant to the job and what you learned, and how the skills that you've learned there can be applied to the role that you're applying for. Also, things like extracurricular activities. It doesn't have to always be in a professional work setting. Things that you've learned being in like part of a society or organising events outside of university hours. These are all things that would develop your sort of maybe softer skills that are relevant to the job. But kind of above all, the best thing you can do when applying for graduate jobs is to get experience, whether that's through work experience placements, internships, helping out at a charity, volunteering to do some work for a family business or a friend's business, anything where you can get experience and get relevant professional work experience will really boost your chances of landing that perfect graduate job. And I think, just do a little final check. I think that's it. Yeah. Okay, so that's it for this month's Hangout. I hope you enjoyed it. Links to all of the jobs featured and the blogs will be in the Hangout description and on the YouTube channel later this month. Later this afternoon, sorry, not later this month. So if you'd like to apply or read the blogs in more detail, then you can find those links there. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you soon for the next Hangout. Thank you. Bye.